In today's episode, we have a special guest, the son of the legendary Fred Hall, Bart Hall, and his wife, Jeannie. Thank you so much for having me in your home today. I'm extremely thankful you would take the time out to come talk about the Bart Hall Show, Long Beach, March 29th through April 2nd. Stick around. You don't want to miss this. Hustle and fish. Let's go. I always going to fish. Always. Well, guys, the Bart Hall Show is back. How does it feel to be back in action, Bart?
It's kind of hard to put into words, Ralph. The emotions are pretty intense. We just finished our Del Mar show, as you know, and thousands of people came to me. Thousands, and said, thank you. That's all. Simply thank you. Now you got me crying. And it was really very special, you know. And then I did this when we signed off that night. I said goodnight to the exhibitors, you know, I cried then too. So it's really important to us to be back. And it's, we're part of the fishing community. That's what we are. And that's where these shows came from. They came out of the fishing community. They would not have existed without the fishing community. So to be back with the fishing community again means so much to me, and I thank God for it.
So with that being said, Jeannie, did you have anything to say?
Well, it's an old word, but Bart's father, Fred Hall, used to say, it's a happening. And that old word kind of still works because what is going on is something special. And it's not a bad word for what it is. It's a happening, you know. So I just wanted to throw that in.
If it wasn't a happening, it would just be a swap meet. It would be a fishing tackle swap meet. And that's not what we're about. We're about energizing and supporting and building the fishing community.
Bart, from time to time, somebody would approach me when I would reference the Bart Hall Show, and they would say, why the name change? Can you address that?
Oh boy, I'd love to address that, Ralph, in detail, but legally I can't. But I can tell you this: that I would rather have gone to my grave calling this the Fred Hall Show and honoring my mother and father than to change it to the Bart Hall Show. But legally, we couldn't do that. So in order to go forward, we had to call it the Bart Hall Show, and we hope people understand that. My father he's the one who created this. I've been running it for a long time. And people asked me to change this many, many years ago. My dad died in 1990. We should call it the Bart Hall Show. No, I'm not going to call it the Bart Hall Show. I'm going to honor my father and mother by calling it the name. And I made him call it the Fred Hall Show. He didn't want to call it the Fred Hall Show. It used to be the Western Fishing Tackle and Fishing Boat Show. And then when I went to work for him, I said, well, Dad, we need to call it the Western Fishing Tackle and Boat Show at least so we get more kinds of boats. And he said, okay. And I said, Dad, everybody just calls this the Fred Hall Show. Why don't we just call it the Fred Hall? I don't want to call it the Fred Hall Show. And sure enough, he finally let me 1 year, and it was a marketing home run. So we just said Fred Hall Show. You know?
It's a little bit like Coca-Cola.
It is a little bit like Coca-Cola, the Fred Hall Show, yeah.
Jeannie, tell us one of your memories. You've been around for a while.
Well, yeah. You know, I probably started working in the shows even before Bart did because I was a school teacher for a long time and it just kind of worked for me. But I remember the day that Fred died. He died on a Saturday. Saturday is our biggest day at the show. And Bart called the radio station, Let's Talk, hook up, and he said, I'm going to do the show. Hang on. We're going to get to you at the end of the program. And so he made that announcement that Fred Hall had died. He was there on Wednesday. He greeted people and everything. And on Thursday, he had to go home because on Friday morning he was having surgery. And we were called to the hospital right away on Friday saying it doesn't look good. And he died by Saturday morning. And people came up to the desk and said, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm so-and-so. My son I caught my first fish here. My son caught his first fish, and this is my grandson, and he's going to catch his first fish today. And that sort of meant a lot to everybody, so.
Wow. I can only imagine, you know. Well, I'm so happy that Bart, you came in and just gave your heart to the show, and I like that you do want to honor your father and mother and let people know that you ain't, if it was up to you, the name would be the same, and this is just a story of a man just trying to honor his father and mother the best he knows how.
Yeah.
You should tell what the judge said.
I don't think I can do that.
Oh, okay.
We don't want to go there.
All right.
But
Tell me later.
yeah, the judge was very happy with the fact that I was calling it my name, so that was fine.
So March 29th through April 2nd, Bart Hall shows are taking over the Long Beach Convention Center. What's the feeling behind that?
Well, there's a lot of anticipation from a lot of people, including me. I'm very excited about this. We had to work really hard to even get back into the convention center because we had been pushed out by the previous owners, and the convention center didn't want to have anything to do with it. But now that we're back in charge, we were able to secure dates. They're the later dates than we've ever had at the convention center, but some people, especially the retailers, really like those dates, and so we're very excited to see what's going to happen, and it's going to look very similar to most people because when you walk in the main entrance, is the sports arena is full of boats, the lobby is full of boats, Anglers Marine there. You're going to see John Petty, the custom jeweler. You're going to see the Pacific Yacht Towers next to him, Western Outdoor News next to that. You walk into the main hall, you be able to get your House of Pistachios on the right, like you always do, and CCA on the left. And then we have the largest row of Eastern Sierras, what we call the 395 row, that we've ever had. And that's pretty exciting to me. And then the show starts to look a little different after that. I made the layout change. And so people will say, well, this looks different, but all the good stuff's there. It's just kind of in little different places, and Turner's a little closer than they were, and Bob Sands is very big and back in there, and we've got a huge marine electronics section. I think it's 120 by 20 of marine electronics. That's a huge space. Wow. Yeah, it's huge, and Shimano has the largest booth they have ever had at our show before. And so you're just going to see a lot of stuff like that, stuff that we haven't seen before. Yes, honey.
Well, talking about changes, there was a time not that long ago that those rows had casting ponds.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And it wasn't that long ago.
No, it really wasn't that long ago. We had casting ponds, but we had to get rid of them to get more booths in, and we're having the same problem right now. We're in the process right now, Ralph, of putting the map together, and we're trying to squeeze as much in as we can. But I think we're going to have some people are going to have to go on a waiting list just to see what happens because it's getting pretty full. So we're pretty excited about it, and I can't wait to see. I want people to come and experience this again. And the outside, the same stuff, like we've had before. We have few more options at the Long Beach than we have anywhere else because you get to go outside and there's the trout pond and there's the casting in the city and there's the duck races and the lumberjack and the dogs and we have a whole overland section now on the grass out there with overland trailers and different things. And then down at the lagoon, you have casting. Different companies will be casting down there. We'll have some Hobie kayaks and some inflatable stand-up inflatable paddle boards and stuff. So there's a whole bunch of things that we do. We'll have hundreds of seminars. We have 5 seminar venues. We did not have any food like we used to have at Del Mar this year. We will next year. But this year at Long Beach, we are going to have a chef again helping us to prepare
Nice.
fish and game. Yeah, so people can taste that. And it's just going to be very much like the old days. Now, will it be, now in 2020, we were the largest consumer tackle show on earth. Will it be that again? Not quite, but it will by next year. So that's what we're working towards. And so we're very excited.
What I want people to know about Bart Hall and his wife, Jeannie, is that I still remember the first time you called me. And you called to apologize on behalf of, I would say, behalf of the the Fred Hall shows or the Bart Hall shows. I just can't believe that I'm even here.
I'm glad you're here, number one. And I remember that phone call. I'm not very good technically, but someone had said, you should see what this guy said on YouTube. And so I looked it up and it was you, and you were upset. And I was not involved in that event that occurred. I'd already left and, I wasn't there. And I told them not to do it, but they went and did it anyway. And so they went to try to do it and didn't do it. And so I felt so bad watching you. You were so honest. You were so forthright. You were so direct. I didn't call anybody else, Ralph. There was a lot of people who got hurt by that, but you spoke to me, and that's why I called you. You reached out, and so I reached out back, and now we're friends. How was the event for you at Del Mar? We haven't done a show there since 2019. And so it's been 4 years since they've had a show down there. How was it for you?
Like, to be honest, I was like, God, if this is for me, make it evident or take it away, because I'm getting tired. And so I put everything I had into the show. And that means everything from money to resources. And I went all in. And the show was our best ever as far as everything. Best in sales to date. I showed up and I was like a super mini Bart Hall walking around. People were just thanking me. They were just, they were happy I was there. They were supporting the clothes. And at one point, the first day, I thought I was going to sell out of certain items. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is going above my expectations, right? And I never really looked around the show because I was just always busy. And no doubt about it, every day just got better. And to this day, I have records back from my first Bart Hall shows, Fred Hall shows, and the numbers just surpassed. And at the end of the night, that didn't bring me the joy. It was, what brought me the joy was the people who came to shake my hand, that came to pat me on the back and say, I've been watching you. Keep doing what you're doing. And then by the time the show was over, I was just, it's still hard to it's kind of surreal, and it's still hard to fathom that guys like me are happy to do videos and let everybody know that, with hard work and passion, and there's still opportunity out here. And what the shows do for me is they make it a reality, because I only exist online. I have no brick and mortar store, and I will do every show there is now. And it's not so much about the money now. It's just about, that's where the people are. That's where the connections are made. And I mean, I was as happy to see those people as they were happy to see me.
You have beautiful clothing too,
Yeah.
We're thinking that could be because of your wife, but
Yeah.
but it's really good looking.
Yeah, I'm, we got over 5 years in, and every year we just try to make it better.
Yeah.
But great experience at the Del Mar show, and I'm happy to be back in my hometown, Long Beach, and I still remember my first Fred Hall experience. My buddy Bear taking me early, like we were going fishing, and I'm like, why are we were like the 10th people from the door. I'm like why are we waiting, and what's behind these doors, and it's just the doors open, and it was just like and I hope if you never experienced, for those who haven't experienced the Hall show, do all in your power to come check it out. Especially if you're a newcomer and just want to get better in the sport. I remember just going there, getting my first reel bag, getting some stuff at Turner's, and just learning the where the deals were at. And I thank you guys so much for putting on that show. My company is growing because of the show. This is the place, if you have an idea and you want to, give it a try, this is the stomping ground for that. I heard a story about Accurate Reels kind of getting their start at the Hall shows. Can you tell me about that?
I love that story because Jack Nilsson, who was the owner of Accurate, passed away a couple years ago, and he was one of my best friends. And so I love telling this story. But Jack was in the aerospace business, and he was making high-tech parts for aerospace, the really expensive stuff that the big companies couldn't do. He'd do it, and he was really good at it. And his boys were avid fishermen, as was Jack. And they said, Dad, we want to make some fishing gaffs. Is that okay? And he said, yeah, go ahead, make some fishing gaffs. So when Jenny and I were at a party down in the Newport Boat Parade, we went to a friend's house down there that I went to high school with, and we're there. And they happened to be there. They come up and they said, hey, do you think we could sell these gaffs at your show that we make? And I hadn't seen them. They were just talking about them. I went, well, of course you can sell gaffs at our show. Yeah, that's what we're all about. Yeah, we'd love to have you. Well, what's a regular booth cost? And I told him, I said, oh, we can't afford that. I said, well, I have some discounted booths in the sports arena that are not in a prime location, but they're discounted. They go, oh, I don't know if we can afford that either. And I went, okay, here's the deal. Why don't you guys come in, put up your display. If you do well, you can pay me. And if you don't do well, we'll just say it was a failed experiment. And so the first day they sold completely out of their inventory. And so one of them had to stay up all night back at their factory because they're all made here and made gaffs all night. Well, they sold all those the next day. So then the next, the two twins, the next day, the other one back and made them all night and sold it. Anyway, they ended up selling everything they made. They were completely out of product by the end of Sunday. And from there, they went on to twin drags because of the twins and the reels. And now...
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah, and Accurate Fishing Tackle is now a sponsor of the Bart Hall show. They actually, one of our major sponsors, along with some other very important companies.
You know what, though? They also were very generous to us, and they gave us each a handmade rod, like the whatever you call it, the threading on it.
Yeah,
it was really,
handmade.
Yeah, and mine was like whatever, pink and
Yours
gold.
was pink and gold.
Yes, but that I still have.
And their reels in those days, they did the anodizing, so the reels matched the pink reel, matched the pink rod, and my black one matched my black reel. It was very cool. Yeah.
So there you have it, guys. That's the story of Accurate, and we know how big they become and what a great product they put on the market. So with that being said, we're going to call this show a wrap. I want to thank you one more time.
Thank
Bart,
you.
Jenny, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. See you guys March 29th through April 2nd, Long Beach Convention Center, Bart Hall shows, taking over the planet. Hustle and fish. Let's go.
I always wanted to fish. Always.
So I
Hold
can
it, hold
tell
it.
you one more story.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
not going to be on.
Yeah, give me one more story because I got one thing to say.
Well, like you talked about Bart ending the show and what he said. Well, years
That's what
ago,
I was going to talk about right now.
I filmed it and
Oh.
I use it
She has it at my death.
in his death video.
I have not seen it. I don't
No,
want to
he
see
hasn't.
it. I'm not going to look at it.
No, but he didn't get all misty-eyed. He simply closed the show that day.
Anyway,
So,
okay.
yeah.
But really quick, so I'm rocking and rolling at the Del Mar show. My booth is going on. I hear Bart go on the radio, and I'm listening, but everyone's still mingling, and I heard your voice choking, and I just kind of just gravitated to it more. What was going on through your mind right there?
Now you're gonna make me cry again, darn you. It was
Let it out.
it was so emotional. Like I told you, thousands of people have said thank you. We're finally back in business after being gone for San Diego for 4 years and the whole shows for 3 years, and it was overwhelming to me. I didn't know I didn't know it was going to hit me like I don't know it was going to hit me now. I'm crying right here. I just had to say thank you to the exhibitors for coming back. Just thank you so much. Without the exhibitors, we can't do this. And I just thank you. And it was just overwhelming to me. And I broke down. I didn't get it all out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I heard.
Yeah.
And I was telling Jay, did you hear that? Bart's choking up there like, what's going on? But I knew it was coming from a place of love.
It was. It was. Yeah. I love the industry. I love the whole shows and I love all of the exhibitors and all of the people who attend. And it's just was overwhelming.
Man, don't even imagine. Jeannie, did you hear that when he spoke?
Oh, yeah, I was right there. I was right in that office.
How did you feel?
Well, I felt badly for him. You know, I didn't want him to be so hurt by it, and yet he was rewarded by it.
Oh, absolutely.